Hello, thanks for joining and welcome to the bite-sized overview of the May 2023 Purple 365 webinar that took place on Thursday the 18th of May in recognition of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. The session was hosted by Purple Tuesday's Head of Business Partnerships, Charlene Overend, and we then heard from two fantastic guest speakers who joined us. So we had Andrea King from Smartbox and Kevin Cooper from Enable All. So to start the session, Charlene firstly just set the scene a bit to show why this is such an important topic to be looking at and such an important awareness day. So some of the things we looked at were just a bit of background behind Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So the purpose of it is to get everyone talking, thinking and learning about digital access and inclusion in recognition that more than 1 billion people across the world are living with a disability or impairment. So every internet user deserves a first-rate digital experience on the web. Someone with a disability must be able to experience web-based services, content and other digital products with the same successful outcome as those without disabilities. And according to WebAIM 2020 report, 98.1% of homepages had at least one WCAG 2.0 failure. And there are over 60 errors on the average website homepage. When you consider that this is the shop front to an organisation, this figure does not bode well for that visitor with a disability in terms of them progressing through your website for more information. So after looking at that, we then heard from Andrea from Smartbox, who talked us through some of the ways that their assistive technology helps disabled users to navigate the internet, play games and more.
So who is Smartbox? We help people with complex needs to meaningfully connect with others so that they can participate in life. And that is by creating assistive technology. So our goal is that we want to create a world that's inclusive and accessible to everyone, and using that technology that helps support communication and independence. So just to let you know, today there's going to be a term that's very commonly used in our industry, and that is AAC. So often speech language professionals like myself are working with technology referred to as AAC. So this is any form of alternative communication, which could be an app, it could be a dedicated tablet for someone with complex needs, or it could be as simple as a printable resource, a mat, a wall poster, a book, pretty much anything that can be used instead of natural speech. So we know that communication is not just about saying, I need this, answering yes and no questions, and kind of just being. It's more about building connection, living life to the fullest, having fun, and being empowered with access to the same things as those who don't need AAC. So there are many reasons why someone could benefit from technology to access all kinds of apps, software, website, social media, but just doing it in a different way because of the disability. So some faces that you might recognize, these are some famous people who use AAC devices. So we have our software, first and foremost, which is called Grid. Grid is available on dedicated tablets and what we also know as a speech generating device, and that we design and manufacture. Or you can access our software from the Apple App Store, which will go on an iPad. Right now it is not on an iPhone or on a Mac computer, but dedicated onto the iPad. So we know that accessibility is just more than communication. Communication, of course, is life. It's so important. But what's also important is accessing games, social media, so that users can stay in touch, grow new relationships, kind of find a group of people that they can talk to, just like a typical person who utilizes natural speech. They want to be able to access hobbies. They want to work. They want to get education. And this is all made possible for disabled people with assistive technology. So this is an image of Jess, who works in the UK. And she is working with a user on one of the activities, which is playing guitar and doing different chords. So with the accessible games and activities, it's not only fun to play games, but people are more engaged, they're more motivated, they're gaining skills, they're participating with people around them and learning cause and effect. And above all, why should someone with a disability not have the chance to enjoy a hobby and game like everyone else?
So that was just a short snippet of what Andrea shared with us from Smartbox. And then we also heard a bit from Kevin Cooper, Managing Director of Enable All, which once it's launched will be the world's most accessible marketplace. And he spoke us through some of the reasons why this is needed.
I've been doing online selling and e-commerce and internet stuff for over 2 decades. And it really is only the last 2 or 3 years that I've put enough focus on accessibility. So for a good 17 to 20 years, I've done what most of the people have done, which is not pay enough attention to it. And I have to confess, it was my error. So for the last couple of years, I've been working on this project at Enable All. My perspectives have changed significantly. I'm very privileged because I get to see live the examples that were just been shown to you by Smartbox, and I've seen those systems in operation. And it's truly inspiring to be involved in meeting these types of people who just keep at it, and the tenacity and their ability to overcome obstacles is amazing. So which one of these, and this is a question I do, and I've done a few of these at different conferences, which one of these is khaki? I'm going to shortcut here. They are all being sold today. It's about a week out of date now, but you will find all these products in the UK being sold by different retailers, and they're all called khaki. Now, if anybody lives on the colour blindness spectrum or with poor sight, it's very difficult to differentiate between those colours because they're all called khaki, ranging from green to the browns to the yellows. Difficult. Now, I've chosen that one purposefully because it shows a breadth of actually how many different hues there are, and it's a really difficult one to solve for. Earlier, Charlene talked about some of the basics, text alternatives, and some of the things we can do. I'm going to take it to a sort of another level, because what Enable All is done, and we're announcing today, the front-end customer experience, the touch points for the customer are all now at a AAA level, and we're ready to go. We're just finalising the first couple of retailers we're bringing on board to present their products through our platform, enable people to come to Enable All and make purchases where they can't do that today directly on an individual retailer's website. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the very simple things you can actually do to get you into a AAA standard. And the ones I'm going to focus on are descriptive text, the accessible keyboard, some little tips for you to recognise on your own space, how to look for those things, a little bit around what's called content layout shift and why you should do that, and some of the very simple things you can do for improving reading levels. So descriptive text. You can jump to the next slide. So we talked earlier about describe it or the khaki and how varied they are. I've asked this question at conferences: what colour is persimmon? I've done it slightly different here. Which one of these is persimmon? Again, without going through a vote and a poll, I'll jump to the answer. They're both being sold as persimmon. Both these garments are being sold as colour equals persimmon. And again, if you're blind, very difficult to understand whether you're going to get a blue or an orange or a reddy orange. And just doing an alt tag to say it's persimmon, this is a persimmon cardigan or a persimmon shirt, isn't quite enough. The real solution would be simply call it persimmon blue. Now, I will tell you this, there is another garment seller out there. They must have heard me at some point because they were selling a garment persimmon and it was blue and it now says persimmon blue. Some very simple solutions. Or describe the colour, right? You could describe the one on the left as a vivid mixture of orange and red, similar to the persimmon flower, because that is quite similar to the persimmon flower. The one on the right could be a medium mix of cyan and blue, similar to wash blue jeans. So again, think of things that people are going to be familiar with and how you could describe things, and maybe go that extra mile.
So as you've seen from this really short overview, there was some really interesting information shared from both Andrea and Kevin. And as always, we recommend watching the full webinar to understand everything that was discussed, but hopefully you got some good insights from this bite size as well. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions about anything regarding Purple 365, you can email me anytime at lashby@purpletuesday.co.